Evening rush hour is starting on the I-5 freeway in Barrio Logan. That's where I meet Carolina Martinez, Climate Justice Director for the nonprofit Environmental Health Coalition. The damage this freeway has caused Barrio Logan is palpable, from the high levels of toxic air pollution to the deafening noise.
The regional plan is trying to undo the history of disinvestment in communities like Barrio Logan. And we see frequency increases in the transit system, 24-hour service, a study to improve the blue line that goes to the South Bay, as well as bathrooms and essential services that are really key in making the transit system successful.
So big picture, this is about reimagining the future of transportation in San Diego.
The mastermind behind the transportation plan is Hassan Ikrada, executive director of the county's planning agency, SANDAG. He acknowledges the plan is expensive, costing $163 billion over 3 decades. But he says there's a lot the plan would pay for, including new high-speed subway lines from National City to Sorrento Valley and El Cajon to Hillcrest.
If you decide not to drive to certain areas, or if you decide to own 1 car instead of 2, this system will provide that, fulfill that vacuum for you, not having that second car, or having a car at all in some cases.
Among the biggest changes compared to previous transportation plans is how this one treats highways. SANDAG has abandoned projects that would widen freeways, instead opting to convert existing lanes and freeway shoulders into new managed lanes, open to carpools, buses, and solo drivers willing to pay a toll. Ikrada says past leaders weren't being honest when they claimed expanding freeways would relieve congestion. That's because of the well-documented phenomenon of latent demand, when the wider freeway attracts more drivers and congestion returns.
Expanding freeways, it's been proven again and again, here and somewhere else in the world, that just by continuing to expand with latent demand kicking in, doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It's not a solution.
Critics have blasted the plan on multiple fronts, from its relatively high cost to the nixing of those freeway widenings. But the sharpest criticism has been targeted at the so-called road user charge. Motorists would pay 2 cents to SANDAG for every mile they drive in the county. It wouldn't happen until 2030, the same year public transit would become free. Ikrada understands the opposition, but says the policy is useful on 2 fronts. It raises money to pay for the infrastructure and helps SANDAG achieve targets set by the state to reduce driving.
The most cost-effective strategy in this vision we have to reduce greenhouse gas emission, it's the road user charge.
Colin Parent heads the nonprofit Circulate San Diego. He supports most of what's in SANDAG's plan, especially the relatively cheap and easy transit improvements, like rapid bus routes.
And that is likely to mean more frequency, so people can get where they're going faster. They don't have to wait as long for the bus. And hopefully it can also include some protected bus-only facilities to make sure that the bus is not caught up in regular traffic, especially during now when there is a lot of traffic in this rush hour.
Where Parent is skeptical is in SANDAG's funding strategy. He fears the push for expensive projects like commuter rail lines decades in the future will be a distraction from the need for solutions now. And if voters say no to new taxes that would fund the projects, he says SANDAG needs a plan B.
And so we want to be optimistic with our revenue, but not so optimistic that we're planning for things that we could never hope to actually build.
Key leaders on SANDAG's board of directors last week came out against the 2 cent per mile fee on drivers. That means even if the transportation plan is approved on Friday, SANDAG will almost immediately have to start revising it. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.